Our guests this morning are two members from the known band Wildfire. It's with great pleasure I'd like to introduce Derek and CJ in our studios this morning. Good morning and welcome to our program.
Good morning, Derek.
Derek, first of all, you being the leader, will you be able to tell me when did your band start, the band Wildfire?
Wildfire, we started off in 2000 and I had different members, right? CJ was working for a company called Bates and I was working for a film director called Budi Kirtisena. And I gave up playing music after 1999. I thought I'm not going to play anymore. I'm just going to do something else. And but at the same time, I thought I'll just form a band to play stuff I love to play, not what everybody wants you to play at a dance or at a party or something. Just the stuff that I love to play and maybe get a gig somewhere, not for the money but just to enjoy playing. So I grew up playing Beatles, CCR, Simon and Garfunkel, Rolling Stone, that kind of stuff, retro. So I formed a band, 3 other guys, and somehow collected some equipment together in 1999. And in 2000, I wanted to get this Wildfire off the ground. Unfortunately, 2 guys said, "No, my plan of playing this retro music is not going to work in Sri Lanka," so they left me. And I had no drummer and no bass player. So I knew CJ, and I said, "CJ, I need a drummer for a while. I need someone to come and help me out till I find another drummer." And Benji Ranabaho from the band Mirage, he's always been a good friend to me, always there to help me, and he's a wonderful guy. And I said, "Benji, I need a bass player." I couldn't find a bass player. I asked so many bass players, none of them wanted to join me.
The style of music.
The style of music, and also like I had a problem. I couldn't stay in a band for long because if I didn't like the band, I would just say, "I'm sorry, I want to quit." So I left so many bands. So they thought this is going to be the same with Wildfire. You form a band, after 3-4 months, he's going to break away. So they were very skeptical. They were not, they were scared to leave their band and come and join me. So Benji helped me out. So we started playing, CJ, myself, and Primal, Leonige from Flame. We practiced a few days, got about 25-30 songs together, and we did a gig at Jake Hilton. And those people who were there, they loved what you did. Because
something different.
Something and totally live. We didn't have any fancy equipment, just 2 small speakers, like how they play in Australia. You go to a pub, you see the bands playing with guitar. I mean, last night I went to see a band, and they just had guitars, bass amplifier, drum set, and 2 small speakers for the voice. So we did the same thing. We had, I did the same thing with the band, and it sounded unique. It sounded different. It didn't sound synthetic at all. It was real live music, and people loved it. They started calling their friends, and the next day it was a house full, and every Sunday it was packed. And from that, so then he didn't leave the band. He said, I didn't look for another drummer. He said, "Yeah, he's going to stay on. We'll keep on playing together." Then Benji, of course, he had his band Aquarius. So then Shafi joined him. And we had another bass player called Joe Thambimuthu. Unfortunately, he passed away in April. Then we got Tilant into the band. And that's how Wildfire started. And we got so many gigs, I couldn't keep up with the gigs. So I had to tell Budi, "Look, Budi, I'm sorry, I can't work with you. I'm going to play with the band Wildfire." And it was fun. And the best part of Wildfire is we have fun. We are not just playing for the money or just because we have to play. When we get on stage, you cannot stop us. Sometimes people wonder how can they play so long, like 2 hours sometimes. Like everybody else is having fun, we are having fun on stage, playing together.
As musicians, you get.
Yes, and after we broke up, I missed that. I tried playing with a few bands, didn't have the same thing. I thought this is just playing. So finally I decided not to play in a band. I thought I'll help young musicians. So I started it didn't happen like I planned to do an agency. There were some young bands who were very good, and they wanted work. So I had a lot of contacts, and I got some work for them, like a few gigs. And then this management called me and asked me for more bands. So I started forming bands, like young guys who could play guitar or sing, my students mostly. And it went on well for about 5 years.
That's good. Now, CJ, now working with Derek, a well-known musician in Sri Lanka, the style of music, as said, it was more on the what do you call, retro type of
Yes.
music. Did that bother you?
Not at all, because actually my background is I originally started playing rock music. I come from the rock scene in Sri
Yeah,
Lanka, and I used to play with a band called The Unwanted Generation. And but playing rock music in Sri Lanka, you can't make any money.
Yeah.
So after a few years of that, if I wanted to continue music, I needed to make money.
Yeah.
So I started playing commercial music, and so I played with 20th Century, with Zaragon, Miles Roach, Dal Reen. Then in 1983 we formed Upeka together with Manila, and then I went to Europe. So right along I've been playing retro music as well.
Okay.
So
So
there was
there was
no
no-
issue
no
there.
issue
Yeah,
at all.
and I listened to a lot of different styles of music, and I try to absorb those styles. So I like to play different
Different types of.
types of music.
That's
You know,
good.
it's interesting.
Yeah. Now, Derek, I like to ask you, what age did you start your music career?
Very young. I was 16 years old.
Right.
And I have to thank this special friend of mine, Sharon Pritchard. He was the bass player of Hezonites,
Yeah.
the guy I saw performing at Mountaineer Hotel. And I played for a concert called the Blue Hawaii Show, where one of my uncles called Uncle Bhiksha Samarasinghe. And I played the ukulele, you know, and I was at the last row with all these beautiful girls in front, guys dancing, and and Hezonites were playing up there.
Yeah.
So I said, I want to get up there. I don't want to be behind it, the ukulele. I want to play it on the bands, with the band. And for my luck, the guitarist left the band. Then they were looking for a guitar player. And Sharon asked me, can you play guitar? I said, Sharon, I can play, but I'm not a good guitarist. I just know a few chords.
Yeah.
Then he told me, okay, I'll teach you to play bass. And I said, okay, that's fine. So I went to his house, and he gave me the bass and he showed me how to play the first bass lines. And I started from there, didn't stop after that. And he showed me a lot of things on bass, and within 2 weeks I was playing in the band.
Okay.
So that's my start.
Yeah.
But
Now-
and also I got another break in 1975 to go to Afghanistan
Right.
with the Square Set. So that's when I went out of the country for the first time and started playing in Kabul for 2 years. Then went to England, traveled, and came back to Sri Lanka. We formed another band called Rendezvous. And then-
Esquire Set is one of
Yes.
the bands.
Yeah, I know.
In '75,
Yeah,
that's what I remember
yeah.
that. And can I ask you, where was the first professional job? You worked. You started learning bass and all that. So where was?
Well, in 1973, 25 rupees was a lot of money.
Yeah.
And I was making 25 rupees per gig.
Okay.
And we had at least 4 gigs a week.
Right.
And suddenly I got this money.
Yeah.
And, well, it was just the money. But, I want to be independent. I didn't want to depend on my parents for money to buy things, So that gave me a bit of courage. I thought, this is a good thing to play music, and you meet girls. That's you're young,
Yeah.
you start flirting with girls and stuff. So that was all I wanted to do in my life. Have some money, meet young girls, go out with friends, like everybody else.
But you also did a lot of work in Europe.
Yes. Oh yeah.
So what are the bands?
Again, Esquire Set. We
Right.
went to Europe in 1980.
Mhm.
Esquire Set. Like I said, I couldn't stay with bands for too long. I left the band after 1 year. Then I joined them again. Left them, joined, kept on, moving. And in '87, we came to Sri Lanka and we formed Purple Rain with Jeffrey Fernando.
So you were one of the members.
Yes,
of
Jeffrey,
Purple.
myself, we formed the band
Yeah.
with Damien, Michael, and Pramod Fernando. That was very successful, especially in Sri Lanka. But I didn't go back to Europe. I wanted to stay in Sri Lanka. But after a few months, I thought it's not happening in Sri Lanka, so I went back to Europe. Then I traveled again. Then I joined Purple Rain about 4 or 5 times. So the last time was 1999. That's when I decided not to play music anymore. I thought, this is it, I got to stop. Because the band was good, just that it didn't work for me.